pass it off, and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and he missed the complete. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard.
For most of the drivers here today, this venue is a place where a lot of time and effort was spent practicing in the early stages of their career. This afternoon, it's back to the beginning as Lime Rock Park plays host to the Absolute Beginner League's Formula Neagle. It's round 5 of 7 on the season 12 calendar, and all the Skippy action from green flag to victory donuts can be seen live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing channel. From Old Blighty, welcome to GSRC's Countdown to Green. Way up in the press box to bring you our Word's Eye view is yours truly, Bill Soup Zahn, together again with Adam Young. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is the hardest working man in sim race broadcasting, our director, Joe Peak. Armed with cameras, located, aimed, zoomed, and focused by GSRC's camera guru, Dougie Beard. If you brought cyberspace into your place, then over the next 15 streamy award-worthy minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the 45 minutes of simulated skip barber racing that will immediately follow. Adam, for iRacers, Lime Rock is a free content and in the rotation for the Rookie Road Racing Series. But even though it's been around a long time in the real world, casual race fans might not be as familiar with this place as the more publicized tracks. Tell us about Lime Rock.
Well, Lime Rock it's kind of one of those storied places that is also probably about as close to an actual bull ring oval that you're going to find in the road racing world. Right here at the foot of the Berkshire Mountains, it's in just beautiful country, northwest Connecticut. It's a natural terrain road course that was built in 1956. It makes it the oldest continuously operating road racing venue in the United States, and despite constant threats of bankruptcy and closure and everything else, it continues to live on and is now even on the National Register of Historic Places. Now, race fans like coming here, teams like coming here. You see a lot of testing and stuff like that done here, but most importantly in our world, it is one of the places, as you brought up, Soup, that everybody starts road racing here in iRacing. So it just kind of has a special place in just about everybody's hearts. And of course, we are racing on one of the older configurations here today. It's been reconfigured a couple times in the real world, but I have a special place in my heart for the way it stands now. And I hope that no matter what, it kind of always stays this way, Soup.
Now, we don't have a video guide for you today, so what we thought we'd do is maybe take a lap around here with one driver to get you an idea. As you look at Vincent Bream going over that, what I call Daddy Go Faster, Honey Slow Down Rise. We're on board with Vincent Bream, and as we do this, he takes it into the pits right now. Well, that's something, though, we talked about. That's something that they're going to need to do. Let's jump on board here with the fan belt as he's riding behind. I'm not sure who he's behind there. I'll see if I can find that on my timing and scoring. We'll take a lap around here with Johan van de Velde. Adam, we have a big field. You can see how narrow it is, how close to the wall it is on the back side of the track here as he works his way through corner 6.
Right.
Into this final corner.
And we go over that hump, and the car gets super light over that hump. And then we go through this right-hander here. And this right-hander, it's very super easy. Right there he goes, putting his wheels off, doing exactly what I was just getting ready to say you're going to do. And it either wants to shoot you over into the left, into that Armco barrier, or shoot you to the right, going into the tires. Either way, it's probably going to be the end of your day if you put your tires off there, especially with these narrow tires in the skip barber cars.
Let's see how Thomas Kick manages this corner. Does a little bit better than Van de Velde did. Now he's down into the final corner, looking to get to the start-finish line. Want to keep it off the dirt. Nice long drive. Now here you're going to see a lot of drivers going defensive as they go into the sweeping 1 and 2.
This is pretty much one of the only really good passing opportunities on this racetrack right here. Yeah, dirt tracking it through there.
Then they come up to really the only left-hander on a course that is full of right-hand corners.
And this is another one it's kind of weird. It'll sneak up on you. You don't realize you kind of miss the apex of that corner very easily. And if you mess up that apex right there, it sets you up badly for this kind of the second longest stretch in this racetrack where you're going full throttle right before you head up the hill.
And then the corner that almost made me cancel my iRacing account after 1 week is that sweeping the uphill there is brutal.
You know, for guys that have been around in iRacing for as long as we have, Soup, it's one of those that, if you remember how the old Miatas were, the old MX-5s, how loose the car got up at the top of that, these skip barbers are worse.
Incredibly frustrating. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the point standings right now as we go through here. He has 3 wins and 4 tries this season, including a last round win at Spa. He's the all-time Formula Neagle win leader with 22 and a winning percentage of 53%. He is a 4-time Formula Neagle champion, well on his way to a 5th. He is the Roland Estonian and current point leader. He is, of course, Bushfink Pink's Arrow Num. For Bastian Hausman, the only driver other than Num to win this season, hopes live in 3 simple words: no drop races. If misfortune should find its way to Num, and that certainly could happen here today with 53 drivers on this tight track at Lime Rock Park, the Mama Jean Racing driver is still within range. For his teammate Tuan Tran, after picking up only 6 points in the first 2 races, the Season 6 champ has recovered to 3rd, albeit out of the championship hunt. Up 2 spots is Powerslide Motorsports' João Valverde. His best result this season has been 6th, which he accomplished at Okayama and then again last round at Spa. It's been a disappointing season for David Third Degree Burns. The 2 Stupid Dog driver has finished outside the points twice and has only podiumed once. Let's look at the team championship now, where you can tell the Trans comeback coupled with Hausman's season-long success has Mama Jean Racing out in front. Frederick Neptune is back and contributed 5 points to the Bushfink Pink cause last time out, and with the Roland Estonian as your teammate, a little help might be all that is needed. 2 Stupid Dogs powered by Vincent Bream and David Third Degree Burns round out the podium. Pressure in 4th is Am Racing Prime's Andrew Leach and Michael Hofflandaisen, because right behind him, and welcome back to the overlay, just a point out of 4th is Powerslide Racing, the aforementioned João Valverde coupled with Ichard Tram. So Adam, we've talked about the track, we've gone over the points. How about we look at the race details?
Yeah, short season. They're trying to fit in this season here, this go-around, before the holidays really set in. So we are looking at round 5 of 7. That means after today, we've only got 2 more races left in this season. The race distance, 45 minutes. We are expecting 1 stop for fuel. Nobody should be able to try to stretch it. There is a 20 incident cap here. Now, here more so than other tracks, it could be one of those incident caps you really have to watch out for. It's really easy to get off tracks here if you're not careful. In some places, if you get off tracks, well, you won't have to worry about the incident cap because it'll end your day. And there are no fast repairs in the Absolute Beginners League. So you're running what you got. You got to take care of that car.
Okay, for those who don't know, Adam's real-world gig is a TV weatherman, so we don't have any magnetic clouds or raindrops for him to put on the magnetic board, but maybe you can tell us, Adam, about the weather?
Yeah, right now we're looking at temperature 79 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. It's keeping the sun still at least a little bit on the track. So we got a track temperature at 90 degrees, causing a lot of these guys here to slide around. Wind's not going to be an issue today out of the south at about 2 miles an hour.
Okay, if I was a driver in 2nd place looking for the points leader to have trouble, what I would look for a combination, let's put us in the Skippy at Lime Rock in a field of, what do we got here now, about 50, I'm looking at 55 cars, I guess now. Attrition, Adam, this is going to be about survival.
Well, I'm not going to lie, and I see 56 now. I'm not going to lie to you, Soup, and lie to our audience. We were almost taking bets on how many cars might finish this race, how many cars might finish on the lead lap. I mean, it's something you got to think about at Lime Rock, just on the lead lap part of it, because it is only a mile and a half and a 45-minute 45-minute race. The leaders are going to get around pretty quick here, especially if they're able to stay nose to tail, use the draft, particularly on the front straightaway. You'll see a big time jump out of them. But basically, based on what we've seen here in practice, we're expecting a very high attrition rate here for today, particularly in the first couple laps. I mean, 56 Skip Barber cars, that's a lot of cars for Lime Rock Park. So you're liable to find yourself in trouble and not even be anywhere near of your doing. You're just going to have nowhere to go to miss it.
And just to let the viewers know, in hopes of giving you a comprehensive coverage of the race and also to save wear and tear on Joe Peak's replay button, we will try to limit our replays. Otherwise, if we cover every incident, I think that's all we'll be doing is watching the whole thing on tape delayed all the way through. We'll try to cover the significant ones, but we think that attrition is going to be spectacular. Let's talk about one of the big issues then. This small of a track, this big of a field, lap traffic, and they'll have lap traffic, I would say probably by lap maybe 3.
Yeah, and I don't know if it'd be lap 3, maybe 4 or 5, but you're not going to be too far off of that, Soup. And it's a lot of that reason too is going to be if something happens in the middle of this field, they get slowed up. It takes a little bit to clear a track blockage. Yeah, the leaders will be on the back of the field really quick. But I mean, 56 cars. I mean, some of these guys will be starting a half lap behind already.
Yeah, and in these skippies, really only one legitimate passing zone, and that is probably down into 1, wouldn't you say, Adam?
Yeah, and kind of talking about it a little bit earlier, you're coming off the last corner of the track's really kind of sweeping. It's one of those sweeping right-handers. You're able to carry a lot of speed, and leading into a great drafting stretch going down the front straightaways. We see Jacob Younger now down the front straightaway, heading into that just kind of sweeping turn 1. But you sweep enough and you slow down enough that it is going to be open to a passing opportunity. You should be able to complete it by the time you get through turn 2. You got to watch out for the apex changes, though, and the diameter of the corner changes as you go through 1 and 2, and it could catch a lot of people off guard. I would not be surprised to not only see that as a good passing area, but a big trouble spot as well, with maybe some wheel bangers going on.
And you'll see a lot of drivers, if they're serious about defending, they can take that inside line into 1, hold it all the way through 2. But if you're on the outside and you're able to keep that line all the way through, it gives you at least the preferred position into the only left-hander as they go into 3. Now, we talked about it. Turn 7 has some nice runoff area. Turn 1 and 2 pretty much have a golf course before you get to the wall. But Adam, after you get around to turn 4, every one of these right-handers has a wall pretty much right next to you.
It does, and that's going to be an opportunity to see cars scattered on the track if we see some sort of incident. And I'll say this too, Soup, that in 1 and 2, even though you feels like you have a long way to go, and you really do, a long way to go till the tires, until the Armco barrier, for whatever reason, Lime Rock in particular, they use a special kind of grass, I swear, here. And you don't slow down at all. So if you find yourself off track there, you're probably going to keep sliding right up into that wall. The gravel traps don't do a whole lot for you either, what little gravel there is. And the best part about it, though, is if you're the rest of the field, though, is that you're not going to have enough time for your car once you bang off something for it to come back out on track. So that's a saving grace there. But you're right. Those Armcos and those tire barriers are going to sneak up on you, especially through the narrow parts of the track.
With about 2 minutes left in qualifying, we're going to go to our grid about a minute from now because we have such a large grid to get through, and it is a standing start. But qualifying is going to be really important. Right now, it is Tuan Tran. He's put his car in the pits. He is sitting on the pole. Now, Errol Num is in second, and he's out there right now, although it doesn't look like he's putting in a hot lap. I think he's just kind of coasting around.
Yeah, I think he's just, doing one of those getting extra practice in while the clock's still ticking, because technically we still have a minute and a half here left in the session, but we got a few guys out there. I think everybody's done set their time here. I'm
looking at all the big ones. I think we're good. If it shuffles around a little bit in the final minute, then we'll just talk about it in the race. Let's go ahead to the grid right now. On the pole, it is your Season 6 champion, Tuan Tran, followed by Errol Num. We know about him. Bastian Hausman and Vincent Bree make up row 2. David Burns and Pierce Cockey go 5 and 6. Here comes a newcomer here. This is Sami Toikola in 7th position, and Jefferson Padavani behind him. 9th is the Fan Belt, and Flores Bashar in 10th. Adam?
Hey, good qualifying effort there by the fan belt today. Diego Francisco starting in 11th, Andrew Leach in 12th. Michelle Constantani, I believe that's another new relative newcomer. I remember seeing that name, I think, in one previous race. Ludwig Sauer out there in 14th. Austin Espedy in 15th. Stephen Larkamp in 16th. Rob Adams in 17th position. Hugo Hernandez Gutierrez in 18th. Liam Quinn starting a little bit further back than I'd like to see him in 19th position. Nico Roman in 20th.
In the blackjack spot, it is Josh Pinky in the Brain. Not sure if that nickname's going to stick there. Alex Campo in the double duck position. Leo Miranda and Joachim Lundgren in 23rd and 24th. Daniel Sessa and Frederick Neptune behind them. The next row is going to be made up of Christian Steele and Thomas Dick. Michael Rosenbrink, and in 30th position, it is Mark Rendell.
Yeah, coming up to 31st position, Patrick Hingston, Paulo Preto, Andy Bonar, Kevin Mills, Mikael Hoffedazen, another guy that I would like to see up a little bit further, along with Edgar Sancinelli in 36th, Andy Moore 37th, Oliver Elliott 38th, Roger Pricken starting in 39th, and Tony Matthews in 40th.
Michael Bittman, Scott Whitestein make up the next row. Mark Kudrowski and Jacob Lunger. Tom Van de Poel and Daryl Bland in the 46th position. 47th to 48th, Salim Hodge, Daniel Bennett behind them. Jose Fijo in the 49th. 50th position is Ad Tiglar. Will this wrap these up? Adam, you get the last guys. There's about 6 or 7 of them. Didn't put in qualifying time.
Yeah, these guys are starting at the very back. 51st, Tiago Perez. Cardio Bofia in 52nd. Guillermo Barros starting in 53rd today. He's hoping to get some positions on attrition alone. Marcus Gata in 54th and Rick Scott 55th. Jimmy Eifling starting today in 56.
Not the day you would want to have a no qualifying penalty from the racing stewards. So, my goodness, let's hope we have a good one. 56 drivers here on the very tight, narrow, and short confines of Lime Rock Park. We got in all the drivers. Adam and I both get our GSRC's commentator bonus. It is round number 5. 7 rounds this season. We're going to get it in before the holidays, and Errol Num is your points leader. He sits outside of row 1. I got to think Num, of course, would always like the victory, and the safest place to be is out in front, but he just has to hope to survive this one. Lap traffic going to be a huge issue, and it's going to happen soon. We're going 45 minutes. We have 1 pit stop. That might be the safest place to be right now, is in pit lane when this action breaks out.
And don't forget that pit entrance here can be tricky, so it'll be another place to watch out for once they start making pit stops.
And pit exit kind of dumps you out on the racing line as well. You hear the engine start to harmonize. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows, because the horses are out of the barn. It is Tron Tran leading them down into that sweeping right-hander. That is 1 and 2. Errol Num tucks into second. Hausman, Green, and Burns. Oh, they're so pretty up front, single file, but then it starts to get ugly farther back. A few cars off in the sand, but so far so good.
Yeah, at least so far they're off in the sand. Not seeing anybody with major damage yet, but they are back on track and going here.
Field working its way through 4. This is the calm before the storm, because it's all going to happen up here as they go through the uphill. So far, so good. The entire field getting through, as far as I can tell. No big incidents.
The closest one I saw was Sammy Toyka coming up over that rise and taking a little bit of a trip through the grass while he gathered up the car, but he is able to continue on just fine, but definitely his heart probably skipped a beat.
Okay,
speaking of heart skipping a beat, Twan Tran really loose going into 1, and Euro Num thought about taking a look in the inside and saw how loose he was and decided better of it.
How about a tip of the hat to the drivers if we get all but 1 car all the way around? Nice job by them. It is Tran, Num, Hausman, Ream, and Burns. Now we can focus our attention as they come at you. Looking to go through the uphill the second time. This is where the car goes up. Gets very light. You got to keep the car pointed straight. So far, so good.
Got a couple guys back here, way back in the field, like Frederick Neptune back in 27th. They're running side by side through there. Somehow everybody gets through there. They've been running really close together here the last couple of corners, and that spot there made me nervous, but everybody survives.
The train starts to pull away now as it is 7th place. It's our newcomer there, Sami Tokoila. He's racing in 7th, and he's got about a second lead over the guys that are chasing him. Takala, new to the series, very fast though. He's got it's Jefferson, Padavani, Bashar, and Vanderbilt trying to hang in there in 8th, 9th, and 10th.
We got a number, still a lot of cars out there, Soup. I think they were listening to us in the pre-race show and like, we'll show you. And
yeah.
Hey, no big incidents so far here, so kudos on these guys.
Looking at the 18th battle right now with Gutierrez. Oh boy, he really got into the back of Rob Adams there. Not sure if he made contact, but it was close. Great racing all the way around. Nothing going on as Tuan Tran continues to hold the lead. We're looking now at Bashar.
Do see a couple of cars on pit road now, including Daryl Bland, who is pretty tore up. So if you're a fan of Daryl Bland, he's running trouble. Jacob Younger's in trouble. Edgar Sancinelli and Tony Matthews as well. Looks like he ran into trouble getting onto pit road, put it into the tires.
I saw that too. The car must not have been healthy. That was he's a better driver than to hit the wall like that. Adam, I almost wonder if the top 7 drivers are just happy to race where they are right now for a little while. Or maybe they're forced to race like this.
No, I think right now that's kind of what they want to do, and just to keep the cars clean, because we got through the first couple laps okay, but now we are starting to see some of that attrition taking place. Is now 44 cars left with about 10 cars now running into some sort of trouble.
I said you'd be seeing lap traffic maybe by lap 3. Well, I probably did that and probably caught me on that one. Looks like there's still about half a lap between our leaders and before they get to the lap traffic right now. Our leader's just going into the uphill section. The end of our train just crossing the start-finish line now. We ride on board Aero Numb. Now we come off of them. There's that Dougie Beer camera shot as they come right at you. You can see the beautiful foliage around the track.
Ooh, Daniel Casas wrecking out a 22nd place here.
Yeah.
Looks like he got into contact with Christian Steele and got turned right into the Armco, having trouble getting back onto the track and finding a spot to do it.
Steele maybe a little too close, or Cesos maybe lost momentum there. You can see Cesos up there in the yellow car. Steele behind him, and boy, he's right on him. And that's the end of your day. No fast repairs here in the Absolute Beginner League. Let's go back up to your lead now. That lead 7-car train, it begins to open up. 2.3 seconds back. Go ahead.
One of our names that we really like to keep an eye on, Liam Quinn, is in trouble. Looked like he got loose coming over the rise, slapped the Armco, came back in, slapped the Armco again, and his day is going to be done.
Quinn had such a great beginning to the season. The wheels have come off the cart, so to speak. Let's see if we found it here. So many incidents to sort through. As he comes up over the rise. Ouch.
We come back after this. We got a good battle going on back for 10th and 11th with Padavani and Floris Bashar really going at it here. In fact, side by side, these guys can be going up the rise like this.
That's Padavani.
Ooh, Floris Bashar, I think, got to squeeze Padavani just a little bit.
That's Bashar on the outside. Padavani now is clear. Now working his way up on the inside. That is Leach. Andrew Leach gets into 11th. Padovani drops back to 12th. Diogo Francisco, we haven't seen him in a while, back in 13th. Welcome back to the series, the Portuguese driver. That battle continues to be fierce. On a little bit of a bump up. Let's go to Joachim Lundgren in 20th position currently. He was racing a little bit farther up. He got together. Looks like he ran into the back of oh no, it was Adams who runs into the back of Lundgren. That's Rob Adams.
And chain reaction wreck there. You got a couple of cars that had shown some signs of damage after that one.
Nico Roma with some great evasive action as he gets around that one.
One thing I'm noticing here at the top part of the field here is while Tuan Tran and Euro Num really aren't separating themselves, no surprise there, and Bastian Hausman just kind of latching on. You get back behind them with Vincent Brim and David Burns, Piers Cocky, and Sami Tokala, that these guys are starting to ever so slightly and slowly start to lose touch with those front three. And, you know, we're so used to seeing the draft really keeping a lot of these guys together, but really here, there's really only two places on this track you're really drafting. And that's that you're going to start to see that gap continue to get a little bit wider as this race goes along.
That's why this kind of track favors the guys with talent. Errol Num, even though it's scary for him, it certainly does plays to his advantage as he is so good through the technical sections. And you are absolutely right, Adam, now as Tran, Num, and Hausman. Funny, those are also the three guys in your points lead. And look at this, we have a little action going on up front as we have a defensive racing line from the front two. That's going to force Bastian Hausman around that outside. And look how quickly, though, when they start to horseplay up there, they start to go wide. And look at the little love tap there from the purple and black attack of Bastian Hausman. Look how it let Bream and Burns and Cocky and Takoya just get in there.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that move. I would not want to let those guys back in the fight because the second you do, the second they become threats to you, and you know, Hausman and Num have to think about the championship battle with just the two of them. And right now, that's what you have with Num second and Hausman third. So letting those guys get back up there, that's dangerous.
Let's stay on this battle with apologies to the rest of the field. I think Bastian Hausman is starting to get hungry. He's got a great run off the final corner. He's got some feet. Again, the defensive line from the front two. Are they going to go three wide? Num has nowhere to go. Look at the run that Hausman has. He's able to get in there. And now there's no room for Num to go as it's purple and black in front of him. Those Mama Jean cars blocking the road. Oh, Hausman getting off into the sand. Num has to let up a little bit. Look at the faith that he has behind him that Vincent Bream's not going to get into the back of him. So there's our first pass in the lead train as it is now Mama Jean Racing going 1-2 in front of the Bush Pink car.
All right, we got to go back to the 17th here real quick, unless that heats up, and take a look at Christian Steele going through 1 and 2. He's continuing to have a little bit of problems here, but we'll go back just a little bit, and you'll see him somehow keep that car at about a 45-degree angle all the way through 1 and 2, and somehow manage to bring it back. Look how sideways he gets here. I think he's forgetting that this is asphalt racing and not dirt track racing. Look at him work that wheel, the front wheel.
Boy, that is a great camera shot too, as you can really see the angle of that front wheel, and it continues on as he loses a position. Steele has had a race full of excitement in just the first few laps.
He really has. That red machine is it's trying to be evil on him. He keeps trying to bring it back. He just did it again this time, going through 1. Look at him.
Remember, these are open setups. There's not a ton you can do to the Skippy to make it change up too much, but my goodness, this must be a racing style. Top 7 cars racing in order. Let's see if we can run down a little bit of the field behind them. How about 8th position? Ludwig Sauer. We have not talked much about him.
Yeah, he's kind of had himself a a little bit of a quieter day, which, at a place like Lime Rock Park, that's kind of what I want to have is a quiet day. I mean, he started in 14th position. He's worked this time at the line. He's in 8th. So he's up 6 spots, and not solely based on attrition either.
And we talked a little bit of that battle going on behind him. That is I hear something big happening. Let's go to Mark Rindell. He is currently in 31st position. Oh, it was just noisier than it really was. He got pushed off into the Armco. There we go. And there we go. And then we saw.
Yeah, another.
Oh, and we see another wreck on the uphill there.
Oh, possible problems here with lap traffic. Who was that? Tegaller almost getting involved here with your leaders just now. In fact, I think actually made contact with Tuan Tran and allows Bastian Hausman.
Yeah. And we'll stay on the replay and then stay on it a bit longer because I think he'll end up with a pass for the lead as well as they go down the main straight. So we are on tape delay right now. You can see the replay up there. And now this opens the door for Hausman as Hausman.
Oh, and Euronum's around. We got to go live.
He is around, and this is big.
Euronum spun it around, only lost a couple spots because that affected the entire front part of the field right there.
There he gets turned. Contact, and look at that, he 360s. Look at, they are 4 wide. Everyone's scrambling for position.
Vincent Brim ended up parked now on the hill. David Burns involved in that. Pierce Cockey involved in that.
And I think you'll see him get contact from behind, and then he might have made contact again on the front wing a little farther down.
Yeah, I think Num ended up getting hit on possibly all 4 corners of the car. I don't know how straight that thing is driving, but he's able to keep pace, at least right now, with Pierce Cockey.
And we go back, we talk about what Steele was dealing with when I talked about setup. A lot of that might have been from damage that he had picked up. That's why the car was so ugly to drive. And I wonder now, we'll see what Aero Num, he'll have his hands full as well. What that has allowed is the 2 Mama Jean racing cars to pull away. It is Tran and Hausman right now. They have a 3-second lead over Cockey. And this is how you win a championship, though. Aero Num somehow still racing in 4th.
And you talk about the opposite end of that. A guy that we're accustomed to seeing up front, David Third Degree Burns, has just hopped out of his car, waiting to see if he does officially retire or not. That would be the 3rd time this season he's finished out of the points, if indeed he can't get back in there.
And you look at Cockey. If you can look back if we get a close-up of Num's car, Adam, you talked about it getting hit at all angles. His right front wing is bent. His rear wing is all bunched up. That car cannot be fun to drive right now. And on a track like this, it's not forgiving for you to try to figure out what you have underneath you. Nevertheless, he puts in decent lap times as he races in 4th. Yeah, another disappointing day for Third Degree Burns as he's going to finish outside the points again.
I'm just looking at Vanderbilt coming in. Now the question is this scheduled or does he have damage? All right, so we're hoping this is just a scheduled stop here. Vanderbilt's one of those guys that sometimes likes to come in early anyway, so that doesn't surprise me too much there if that is indeed a scheduled stop. Man, but with all that, Tuan Tran and Bastian Hausman, the Mama Jean cars, they have really set themselves up now to be well ahead. I think one of the guys that probably hurt the most, that as far as cars that are still on the track, is Sammy Toikala, who is up there running with that pack. But now with that incident and how much it slowed him down to have to avoid contact, he is now falling back into the clutches of Ludwig Sauer and Forrest Bashar back there in 6th and 7th position. So he's going to have to be fending them off instead of running in the front part of that field.
And now the pit lane starting to get a little bit busy. Some guys coming in. Our top 11 drivers still yet to pit. Austin Espity racing in 11th. Well, now we can see some drivers falling down. Campo came in, one of our top drivers who came into pit. Looks like Vanderbilt's going to get in and out, be the leader of all the cars who have pitted in 19th spot.
Now, Soup, we started this race. We ultimately ended up starting this race with 50 cars on the track. And we now have 25 left on the lead lap.
And you can go down to 38th position. There's not that many cars still out there looking to see who's still racing. A lot of cars are in the pit lane right now. Looks like our last car out on the track, maybe Scott Whitestein in 32nd position. San Chinelli, we guess, we're going to say. He's 11 laps now, but that's San Chinelli. He's going to finish this one. Racing in 44th position, but a lot of spots to be vultured. Let's look at this battle up here for 8th spot. This is really close. This is Hugo Francisco right behind Floris Bashar. This has been close the whole time. The one thing that I've noticed is the driver in 5th. He's a little bit ahead of these guys. Sammy Takola, he's fallen back into the clutches of Sauer. Okay, here comes the pass, though, for 7th. And Francisco gets that done.
David Burns has officially called it a day.
Well, the bad news for David Burns is the season is almost over and probably not enough time for him to catch anybody. The good news for David Burns, this horrible season is almost over.
Did you just try to make the glasses half full and the glasses half empty all at the same time?
All at the same time, baby. Let's drop back and look at this battle for 13th that our director has found. This is Nico Roman trying to run down Gutierrez. Nico, one of the 2 Romans we see here.
No need to go to it. It wasn't very exciting, but Bastian Hausman has just moved into the lead over Tuan Tran. Tuan actually let off the gas to let him by going into 1.
And as much as Tran likes to win, it'll be an interesting interview to see with Hausman still with a legitimate shot to win the championship. Every point counting. I would wonder if there's little team orders going on there. We continue to look at this one as Nico Roman looking his way around. Top 18 cars yet to pit. Vanderbilt, the leader of all the cars who have pitted.
You know, is that battle's kind of calmed down just a touch. I've been watching Euro Num here the last few minutes, and I'm seeing him rack up the off tracks. I'm seeing him do everything, but somehow keep that car ultimately on the racetrack and going in a relative straight line. But he's driving an ill-handling machine right now, and I think it's plainly obvious at this point that that car is not healthy. He's just trying to bring it home the best he can.
And what he has to worry about is how long iRacing is going, if there are any mandatory repairs that iRacing is going to do when he comes in, if his pit stop is going to be longer.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something to watch out for. Now, while that's going on, right behind him, though, another good battles, the Francisco Sauer battle actually starting to heat back up again. They were side by side again just a moment ago, so this will be another one to keep our eye on here soon.
And it won't be long until those guys actually get into Num. Num is really slowing down. One thing that the attrition has helped the leaders is that we have so many cars out. Really, lap traffic yet to play a big factor for Tran and Hausman. They are coming up on some guys though pretty soon.
And we've already seen once where lap traffic can really start to play a role in stuff. So, I mean, that was almost a disaster a little while ago, actually, for both those guys, where that car snaked in between both of them. I forget who was the driver of that car there, but lap traffic can certainly play a role in this. And we've got they're coming up on Daniel
Let's
Bennett.
go to Vanderbilt. He got a little bit of help. Boy, he came right out in front of some cars. Whew. Vanderbilt got a little bit of help. I think that was Christian Steele again. Unless I'm misreading my handwriting.
Jose Carlos Filho.
Yay, good. That makes me feel much better. Steele was one car ahead. That was Fijo.
That was significant contact there for the fan belt.
Yeah.
That tire wall is not friendly.
In defense of our new rookie here, Jose Filo, I think Vanderbilt might have got a little bit loose in front of him. I can report that Num has fallen back. As we look at the leaders, Num has now fallen behind. Well, Francisco's got around. In fact, Num is coming in. All right.
Well, he's out pretty quick, so that does confirm our suspicion that if you have a required repair, you'd probably get the meatball flag. So he didn't have any. He's back out there, but he still has a little bit over 22 minutes left in this race as far as driving a pretty ill-handling race car.
Yeah, that one, and he did not do any repairs on it. The thing still looks like he's just trying to salvage whatever points he can. He was passed by Sammy Tacola, got around him before the stop, and now everyone's around him as he is the leader of all the cars who pitted, though, in 14th position.
They're all trying to get around the lap vehicle right now of Daniel Barnett, who Ludwig Sauer was just now able to clear. That was the red car that you saw on the inside, sporting the likeness of Deadpool on the front, I believe.
We have 21 minutes of racing to go. Pit window is wide open. We would expect those leaders probably to keep running it till the tank is dry. That's what Tran likes to do, especially if traffic is not all that bad.
And that might be something else.
Let's go to fourth. This is Sammy Takoya. He he did it on himself. He collects another car. Is that a lead lap car or a back marker? I can't tell. They blinked away. We'll have to go back and see this one. Oh, it's Ludwig Sauer he got into.
Oh. And he kind of got off the grass there. Diego Francisco, I think, when we get done with this, we have to go on board with Diego Francisco. You're getting ready to see why.
And so there goes the rookie, and that's Sauer that collects him at the end.
Oh, tough break for both those guys. You're getting ready to see here, Soup. They're going to go up over the rise and everything, and just watch the wheel job here that he has to do to keep out of the back of Sammy there as he starts to lose control.
Oh my goodness. Of all the places where you do not want to be taking evasive maneuvers, it's right there.
And that's the fastest corner on this racetrack going through there too, and things can go bad for you in a hurry, as you've seen already, even in this race. So, Diego Francisco, that move right there, I believe, is going to move him up into fourth position, and with nobody really around him right now.
And that has championship ramifications, because those drivers, all of those drivers that we were talking about that had issues, were ahead of Errol Num. Those are drivers that he would probably not finish ahead of. So he'll be able to get those spots based on attrition. Num right now racing in 12th, your points leader.
You know, I got right before that happened, I was thinking that Tuan Tran, maybe it wasn't team orders that he let Bastian Hausman by there a few laps ago. Maybe it was something else. Is now you're seeing them start to make a move on each other here.
Tran is, oh my goodness, Tran is really loose going through 1 and 2.
You know, I was just thinking that maybe Tran just wanted to ride behind Hausman to save fuel, but then he changed his mind, and well, this happened.
Watch this. He almost took out his teammate here as he makes the pass on the inside. This is about Tran in the yellow with the yellow wheels, Houseman with the orange wheels. Watch the leader, how far this car gets squiggly. Gathers it back up, and Bastian says, maybe I'll lead for a while.
We'll give Christian Steele earlier a 9.5 for drifting through there, and we'll give Tuan Tran right now about a 7.
Pierce Cocky racing in third, all by himself. And Diogo Francisco having a great race in fourth, up 7 spots.
Well, we knew attrition would certainly take a toll, and it started a little bit later than what we thought. We figured it'd be in the first 2 or 3 laps that we'd see a lot, but really it's just been spread out here over the last little bit, and we're still seeing cars drop out.
Floris Bashar has come in. He was racing pretty up to the front. It'd be interesting to see. I think he's going to get out in front of Num. No, Num's going to get him. Num just gets around him, but I don't know if Num has the pace to stay ahead of Bashar. Bashar is pretty darn quick. I mean, you know what, we know what Num can do, but that car right now it's a handful for the Roland Estonian.
Yeah, if you're just joining us here in the last few minutes, got on late, maybe got done with whatever it was you were doing on a Sunday morning in the United States, you missed an accident a little while ago that claimed a lot of cars in the top 10, including the likes of David Burns, Vincent Brim. Euronum was involved, and Euronum, you can see the damage right there on his car, pretty significant damage at that, and we do believe he is driving an ill-handling race car at this point.
Guess you could say he's uncomfortably numb.
Okay. If you want to go there, that's okay. I got it. Dark Side of the Moon. It's okay.
Okay, full disclosure, that one came from the director.
Oh, it sounded exactly like you there for a second, Sue.
Well, he knows my style. He writes for me.
Oh, what happened there is somebody had mentioned Uncomfortably Numb, the Pink Floyd song there, and it's got to thinking about Dark Side of the Moon.
Speaking of that, let's look at Frederick Neptune racing in 15th position. See the segue there, 1 lap down. Frederick Racing is Aero Num's teammate for Busch Fink Pink. Racing in 15th, inside the points again. We talked about it in the pre-race show. Frederick, whatever you can chip in, that's going to help. Top 10 cars still yet to pit. Mikael Hoflandaisen, the last car ahead of Errol Num. Num racing in 11th, Hoflandaisen in 10th.
Just looking at all these beat-up Skip Barber cars, if I didn't know any better, I'd say I was watching a NASCAR short track race at Martinsville or Bristol. There are some beat-up machines out there.
13 cars on the lead lap. Last car that's still out there is Paulo Pareto racing in 31st position. He is 12 laps down at last count.
And we did have our director go through the field, count how many are, and we can officially say that half the field that started this race has called it a day. They're done.
With just under 15 minutes of racing to go. Our leader, Bastian Houseman, ahead of his teammate Tuan Tran. They have a comfortable 3.5 second lead back to Pierce Cocky.
Ooh, Tuan Tran has a really good run on him here going down the front straightaway. He's going to try to make something happen here going into 1. And Houseman lets off and lets him go. Every time I see these guys running, nose to tail, I always think about that one episode in the Star Trek, the original series, where they had that aliens were like, half the race had their face painted black, and the other half had the other half of their face painted black. Because purple and black, opposite on either car. Okay.
They hate each other.
My nerd moment.
I'm black on the right side. Well, he's black on the left side. That's why they didn't like each other. 3.2 seconds ahead of Short Phil. Let's quickly take a look at Pierce Cock. We haven't talked much about him. He's got some lap track ahead of him. Scott Whitestein. Whitestein does a pretty good job of getting out of the way as a rule, as I've seen here, as they work their way through that final corner. Andy Moore up ahead of them. Here comes the pass for the lap. Cocky gets inside. And Andy Moore's going to leave him room as well. And Cocky says thank you very much. And now they come up on the back of Mikael Hoflandaisen. That's Cocky. He's got Hoflandaisen in front of him. He is the last car on the lead lap. Well, last time around, I guess he's probably been lapped by now. They get around the slower car there of Daniel Barnett. And we're still waiting for everyone to come in and make those stops.
Well, one thing I've noticed here the last little bit, we can go back to Euronum and Floris Bashar. Our director actually noting that Bashar hasn't fallen off of Num at all. Well, I got to looking at the difference between Num and your leaders when after Num's first full out lap, after he completed his hot lap and had his first good out lap after his pit stop, he was about 28 seconds behind the leaders. Now he's 34. He has lost 6 seconds on the leaders since he's taken his pit stop, and that just goes to show is Floris Bashar, who's finally going to make his move down the front straightaway here, that his car is nowhere near as fast as what it was earlier.
Just trying to salvage whatever points he can. He does come out in front of Diogo Francisco, though. I think Francisco's probably going to have the pace to get another position from Num. And we can confirm, remember, Bashar now has made that stop, so he is the leader of all the cars who've pitted. And it won't be long until the Portuguese driver gets the Roland Estonian. I'm talking about Diogo Francisco. We've seen Francisco earlier on in the season. He took a couple weeks off. Good to see
Andrew
him back.
Leach is in. Bastian Hausman's in. Here's Cocky's in. Twan Tran's still out there.
Here they come.
Tran is still out there. Tran's going to go around at least one more time here.
Hausman in and out without a problem. Short Phil, Pierce Cocky in and out. Of course, you never know if there's a problem with him until we get to the checkered flag. That's going to move Bashar up to 4th now. Num in 5th. For now. Boy, look at Num. He's still, even though the car's damaged, he's still really good through some of the sections. Just doesn't have the straight line speed, I think. Now here comes Francisco. They go over the hill. We'll stay on this a bit longer. I think when they come to the final corner, this is where you're going to see where Num's car just will not go.
Ooh, Twan Tran is having a heck of a time right now getting her past Daniel Casas, and lap traffic almost got into the wall there coming up over the hump because of the line that Daniel Casas ran, so that's going to be something to watch at least until he goes over. If I'm Twan Tran, I think I come in now and avoid this guy. Indeed, that's exactly what he's going to do. That got to be really hairy there about a half lap ago. Oh, and Tran was also hot going into the pits, I think, given the situation. Hopefully he didn't end up with a speeding penalty.
We've seen that happen before. His teammate has just worked through West Bend, now going through the diving turn onto the main straight. Tran just pulling out of his box. Here comes his teammate. Tran is out first. Can he get it up to speed?
Okay, I just went back and looked at Twan's pit entry. He did get under the speed limit. Actually ended up about 5 miles an hour under the speed limit, so it actually slowed him up a little bit going in that hot.
Tran stopped 9.4 seconds in the box compared to his teammate who was in for 12.3. That's a difference of 2.9 seconds. That's why he is out in front by 3.1 seconds. But of course, there's one way to have a fast pit stop, and that is don't take enough fuel. Of all the drivers who took a pit stop, the fastest one, Flores Bashar, 9.2, Tran 9.4. The next fastest one, 10.5 from Francisco. So Tran considerably faster. And now we look at this battle.
Yeah, Diego's showing some speed here in the later stages of this race. I don't think he has enough to... He's well off the podium spot with Pierce Cocky right now running in third, but, you know, hey, racing's about momentum, and maybe he gives him some good momentum going into next week. All right, excuse me, in 2 weeks.
Now with 7 minutes to go, Num has a 2.5 second lead back to Andrew Leach in 7th. I don't know if Andrew's going to have enough to get there. Best battle on the track right now is the Francisco Bashar battle. That is for 4th as they race away from the Roland Estonian. Tran's interval back to his teammate for the lead is 3 seconds. And I think he's going to lose this spot as Bashar is going to get Neagle.
And for those keeping track, there are now 14 cars on the lead lap.
And 25 still racing, less than half. Looks like it'll be a while before we get another lap car. Frederick Neptune looks to be the last car on the lead lap. And again, you take that 14th position from Neptune, you put that together with Num in 6th. Not a horrible day for Butch Fink Pink, but considering they're trying to catch Mama Jean Racing, who race 1 and 2 right now, that's going to be tough for them to catch the purple and black team. And here we have another pass as this time Francisco gets around Bashar. All that battling, probably good news for Errol Num as he's able to stay close enough. In fact, look at Errol as he gets right in there as they work in through the corner 3. Doesn't matter what Errol Num is in, he can make the car go fast unless it's just a matter of no straight line speed, which is what he's got behind under him right now. As season 7 nears an end, you look at these two newcomers here, Bashar and Francisco, and you look forward to season 8. Let's see if Bashar's going to make the move. I think he's going to get him. This pass probably easier to make with 5 minutes to go than it will be when the white flag is being waved.
At this rate, it's going to be whoever's leading who coming out, for that last lap between these guys. And in this draft right now, it's allowing Euro Num to stay right with him. I just don't think he has the speed to be able to jump out and pass him.
Tuan Tran's interval is down 0.8 of a second now. The only reason I bring that up is we worry if he's having to nurse the car a little bit for short fuel. Let's go ahead and ride on board and maybe we can give a listen and see if he's taking the car in deep or lifting, short shifting. He goes around the lap car of Daniel Bennett. The gap now down to under 2 seconds. Not hearing much. It seems pretty good. This might be a matter of pace or just racing at 90%, knowing that he has that cushion. He can take it easy. Just under 4 minutes of racing to go. Let's check back in on that Bashar Francisco battle.
Yeah, while you're watching that, they swapped again on the front straightaway.
And now here comes Bashar right on his tail. They head up into this final corner, and he gets the runoff. And again, like you said, Adam, it's a matter of eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Where does Mo fall here with 3 minutes left of racing? Right now, Bashar's out in front.
We're running 57-second lap time still, so these guys can still squeeze in maybe 3 or 4 more laps here before everything's said and done. So it's still anybody's race. And don't forget, if something happens between these guys, that's going to propel Euro Num right back up into 4th position, assuming he'd be able to avoid any kind of trouble. And that's the kind of thing that Euro Num, I think, wants to see to kind of salvage points.
Let's go to the main straight. It was Daniel Sessa got into, what a weird place, and Michael Bittman got into it on the front straight. Not sure where he was going. He just kind of ran into him.
It was weird.
Right in front of Andy Moore, who has a good view of this one. Maybe just miscommunication, trying to get around a lap car, but basically he just followed him, and they both end up in the wall.
Yeah, Danica Kassab was the one, too, that Tuan Tran was having trouble getting around right before his pit stop, too.
The interval to the lead, 1.5 seconds now. Hausman can actually see him. We're probably this will be this one and one more lap. It could just be a case of Tuan Tran minding the gap, but we have to keep an eye on that. Let's go ahead back to 4th position, Bashar, as they come down the main straight. This time, Francisco a little bit farther back. Maybe he's figured it out where he wants to be, and he doesn't want to make the pass yet. Not sure if there is enough track between the final corner and the start-finish line to get a pass made. We'll see. Francisco would need a great run out of the final corner. The intervals, we look at Tran, you can see the number in yellow between them, 1.3. And that number, of course, is green, not yellow. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for my rods and cones. White flag, that's a color I know. The interval, still with a decimal point. Can he get it under a second? Are there team orders? Oh my goodness, look at this. It's now 0.7 of a second. Tran was really slow through that corner. Maida was off track a bit. 0.8 of a second now, the interval. However it plays out, it's a good day for Mama Jean Racing. They go over the rise. Might be a case of too little, too late. There is Stefan Larkamp up ahead. Don't think he's going to be a factor. Final corner. Round number 5. Season 12, I apologize. Give it to Tuan Tran. Oh, he almost, as the interval is much closer than Denise says, he almost slowed down to let Hausman have the win.
You see him blow his engine right there, right at the end. And coming to the line now, Floris Bashar and Diego Francisco. And Floris Bashar is going to get that. They were really battling hard there going through the last lap, Soup.
Let's go back to Mikael Hofland and this is a battle for 11th. He's got Nico Roman behind him. They are on the back half of the track. Roman has a good run through that corner. To the final corner, is there enough time? What kind of drive can you get off here? Don't think it's going to happen. Let's give 11th position to Mikael Hofland, 12th to Nico Roman. The last car on the lead lap, Christian Steele. He comes home in 13th. And with that, the racing is over here at Lime Rock, but the GSRC broadcast is far from done. What we're going to do is take a short break, but we'll be back to run down the entire finishing order of the race you just saw completed, talk to some of the drivers, and then put a lock on the gate. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Absolute Beginner League's Formula Neagle Round 5 of 7 on the Season 12 calendar from Lime Rock. And the results are in. Let's go ahead and give you the finishing order of all 52 drivers that took the grid. Your winner, Tuan Tran, came home a tenth of a second ahead of his teammate Bastian Hausman, although that interval was a little bit misleading as it was larger than that shows. Pierce Cockey had a quiet third-place finish. Flores Bashar and Diogo Francisco put on a great battle. Bashar getting the best of it as he comes home in fourth ahead of Francisco. How do you win a championship? Well, you don't DNF on a race where there's 52 drivers in it, and that's what Errol Nunn was able to do, as he salvages a sixth-place finish with the damaged machine. Andrew Leach and Jefferson Padovani go 7th and 8th. 9th and 10th, Austin Espity and Leo Miranda, quiet 10th place from him.
Yeah, going up to 11th position now, and you'll find Mikael Hoffadezen out there, almost 45 seconds behind a year winner Tuan Tran, Nico Roman, Christian Steele. Christian Steele, what an eventful day for Christian Steele, yet somehow not only manages to finish the race, but finishes on the lead lap. Frederick Neptune coming home 14th, Andy Moore 15th, Tom Vanderpoel in 16th, Salim Hodge in 17th, Daniel Barnett in 18th, Roger Pricken in 19th, and Scott Whitestein in 20th.
Hidden Blackjack, it is Josh Brain. How about Edgar Sancinello? We talked about him being the last car still racing. It was way back in about 45th. He comes home in 22nd. Paulo Prado in 23rd. Daniel Casas going to have some interesting replay review from the IRT going on there, as he had an incident down the main straight that was fascinating. Michael Bittman in 25th. 26th position, Stefan Larkamp. Sane Tokoilov was well up in front for a while, but he wasn't able to bring it home. He got involved in that incident that was with Errol Nunn. He finishes in 27th. Ludik Sar, 28th. Sorry, those two guys were together in that incident coming over the hill. And then it was Hugo Gutierrez in 29th, and in 30th, Michael Rugenbrink.
Yeah, going into 31st position, Johan Vanderbilt found himself in trouble. Andy Bonar, trouble. Kiradine Bufia in 33rd. Alex Del Campo had some trouble. David Burns, third-degree burns, caught up in that big incident with some of the leaders, along with Vincent Brem, and they'll fall out with 33 laps down at 35th and 36th. Jose Filho at 37th. Mark Kudrowski at 38th. Patrick Hinston in 39th. And Thomas Kick in 40th.
In 41st is Mark Riddell. Odd Tigalar in 42nd position. Joachim Lundgren and Rob Adams. Liam Quinn. Oliver Elliott. Tony Matthews. Kevin Mills. Marcus Gastal. Jacob Younger. Oh, I went a little far. Let's finish these up here. Jacob Lunger. Gerald Bland. Mikel Costantini. Diego Pierce. Guillermo Barros. And then we get down to the drivers who did not start. Okay, there you have 52 drivers plus in our finishing order. Let's go ahead and go to the interviews right now. Who do we have available? Looks like we have, let's go ahead and I'll take the second place driver right now. We'll talk to Bastian Hausman. Bastian, good day for Mama Jean Racing. You were right in the hunt. Your teammate just smoked you on the pit stops.
Hey, good evening. Yeah, he saved a lot of fuel when he was behind me. So he could go. I had to pit, and he could go on for a few more laps. Then some back markers were hurting him, and he still was way out in front. So he saved a lot of fuel.
Yeah, okay. That's the good example of why that is. Look, we talked about it. I got a hunch, no team orders for Mama Jean Racing. Whoever gets the win, he gets the win. It looks like he was just playing with you, almost gave you the win, but it was his all the way, right?
Yeah, indeed. He was braking, but I was also braking because I didn't want to win that way. I was trying to catch up, but yeah, I got it. Didn't make it.
Well, nevertheless, Errol Nunn, we talked about it in the pre-race show. With such a large field here today, anything could have happened. The guy ran into trouble, but nevertheless comes home with 6th. It's such opportunity that you could have picked up, but you pick up a few points at least.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I just wanted to be in front because I was afraid of everybody. It was so crowded. It was really scary. The first stint before the pit stop, with guys standing uphill when you couldn't see him. It was hectic.
Actually, I thought Lime Rock put on a pretty good show, and with such a large field, with the attrition so big, at least traffic wasn't as bad as it could have been if all 50 cars would have still been racing at the end.
Yeah, that's true. It could have been worse. In the end, it was pretty nice. At least the front straight was clear, so it was good to see.
Well, look, you got a win already this season, and you're sitting second in the points. Couple more races to go. Good luck the rest of the way, Bastian.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and I want to congratulate the rest of the podium and all the finishers, of course. Thank you.
Bastian Hausman, your second place finisher today. And now we are going to talk to, who do we have here? Who do you want? Oh, who would you like, Adam?
Oh, let's see. We can go ahead and grab. I believe Diego Francisco was the next one in the running order there. So, Diego, had yourself a pretty eventful day with some of the stuff happening around you, and a great battle there with Floris Bashar in the closing laps of that race. Tell us about it from your seat.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, it was a pretty good race, honestly. I started and lost 2 positions, and then I had great pace all race long, running low 57s. But then I had a spin, and I lost something like 5 seconds, and I couldn't catch Pierce Cocky. Well, bad luck. Next time.
Well, you're still at least able to bring it home with a top 5 finish. I mean, no, it wasn't a podium finish, but at the same time, though, you were able to overcome the adversity that took place. Now, going into this race, I know a lot of people were kind of dreading it. What did you think about the racing out there today, just in general? I mean, was it clean enough for you?
Yeah, I had some moments with back markers and one with Sammy where he lost control of the car, and I just managed to keep it together somehow. But yeah, overall it was pretty okay for me, I think.
Alrighty, well, hey Diego, we got 2 races left here in the season. We gonna see you at both of them?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, hey, good talking with you, and good luck here in 2 weeks, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
All right, so that is Diego Francisco, your fifth place finisher here for today, and I believe Soup's going to catch up with Euro Num.
Euro, I'm going to tell you this. Congratulations on a hard-fought 6th place finish.
Yeah, thank you. It was very easy to drive because there's no speed in the car.
Well, let me tell you, I think more important for you this race, we talked about it in the pre-race show, rather than getting the win, was just to finish this thing. What you didn't want to do is finish outside of the points.
Yeah, I was thinking top 5 before the race. It's okay, so it's so crazy track here.
How long did you know after you had your incident? How long did it take you? What goes in your thought pattern those first couple corners when you don't know what kind of car you have underneath you?
Yeah, just go.
Well, I thought you were pretty fast through the technical section. The car would not go down the straight line.
Yeah, in the end of the straight, the guys just passed me so fast, so it was just on the top speed, I think.
Well, a 6th place, I know that's not what you usually get, but when you're looking big picture, that's probably a good finish for you today. Congratulations, good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Aero Num, your multi-time champion, 4-time champion, looking to get his 5th win. He gets 6th place today. Do we have time for one more interview? Maybe Pierce Cocky?
Yeah, and Piers, bringing in Piers Cocky on the podium here for today, finishing in 3rd. Piers, a pretty exciting race out there, wasn't it?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, it was good. Happy with 3rd. Well done to Mama Jean Racing 1 and 2. That was good. Commiserations to Aero. Or Aero.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are thinking that. I mean, of course, it was just hard racing that was going on in that pack. And the accident also that cost David Burns and Vincent Brem a chance to finish this race. Tell us about the accident from your seat. You kind of had a bird's eye view of that.
Yeah, I was quite lucky to be at the back of it, and I think I managed to get through it unscathed. But anyway, I was very lucky to drive around Aero. And David and Vincent, I think, just disappeared into the scenery or something. And from there onwards, yeah, it was good. It was my lucky day, really, seeing Aero. He was hanging on to me. I thought he must have had damage with the amount of contact he had. But I think once I managed to break the draft for him, he couldn't hang on, so his car must have been pretty mashed up, I think.
Yeah, I'll tell you from our vantage point, it seemed like he dinged up all four corners of that
really?
car. So he definitely struggled to hang on here for today. Now, Piers, of course, got 2 races left in the season. As always with the Absolute Beginners League, it's going to come down to the wire. Where are you sitting at right now? Like, are you just going into the next 2 races just hoping for good finishes, or are you looking toward next season?
I'm trying to qualify for Race of Champions, most important race of the
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, hey, goals, right? Goals.
Yeah, absolutely. As a former Race of Champion winner, you see, I find that race very important indeed.
Are you guys ready to tell us where the Race of Champions is going to be at, or are we saving that for later?
I've no idea. Hopefully somewhere fun. It's usually quite good fun.
Well, the last couple of ones have certainly been fun to broadcast. So, well, hey, Piers, appreciate you stopping by here today, and hopefully we get to talk to you again here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks, guys.
And that was Piers Cocky.
3rd place finisher today. That's going to do it for us here at the Global Sim Racing Channel. Stay with us to the end of the broadcast, though, because these people make it possible for us to do what we do. Thanks to the Absolute Beginner League for organizing Formula Neagle and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Thanks to the company's equipment and software that you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. And special thanks to Eric Eckelm and Casey Lalonde for providing the background music used on today's show. See the screen for how to contact each of them.
And next up, Formula Neagle is going to be here in 2 weeks, the 3rd of December for Souped. I really got to say it like this. Can I just call it Mosport? Everybody's going to know what I'm talking about. Too, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. GSRC is going to be there, and we hope you join us. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including dates and times for all upcoming broadcasts, your best bet is www.globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at /Global Sim Racing Channel.
Could not agree with you more on the name of that track. Finally, on behalf of the man whose voice you just heard, that was Adam Young, our director Joe Peak, and our camera artist Dougie Beard. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun. Storm of the Castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.